Welcome back. So in this video we're going to have a quick look at this countervailing forces model that they show, kind of pressures and interest in family business. And this is the actual chart for those of you that are following along in the article. But those of you that haven't printed the article, don't worry, I'm going to review it with you right now. So they talk about four different groups of people. There are people that are inside the family and inside the business, so totally invested, kind of what we normally think of in a family business. You've got people that are members of the family but are outside the business, not actually have anything to do with the day-to-day running of it. You've got people that are outside the family but in the business, i.e. employees and managers that the family business has hired along the way. And you've got people that are outside the family and outside the business. And that could be like regulatory bodies, the government, other kinds of stakeholders. Like you might think of secondary stakeholders if you're drawing out a stakeholder map. So the family managers are the ones that are inside the family and inside the business. And their priority usually is hanging on to control of that business. That's their baby. They started it. They want to maintain control and they want it to be as successful as possible. And they want to make sure that they keep this business within the family. So they're going to be actively selecting the managers of that firm within the family pool. Now, sometimes certain family members are reticent to be a part of that business. That's part of it. But that's kind of part of the process. Family managers usually want to build a family dynasty. They want to build something to pass on to their children. And of course, a big part of family members running a family business is there's going to be rivalry. The sibling rivalry that's at home is going to manifest itself way more intensely in the business as well, right? Because the kids are no longer throwing little tantrums over the toys. Now they're throwing tantrums over the future of the business. This can get a lot more intense, and this kind of rivalry has been able to fester over decades. Okay, this is problematic. Then there's also family members that are outside the business. This could be in-laws. This could be people that have inherited portions of the business. For some reason, they're kind of owners of the business, but they don't have anything to do with day-to-day operations. And usually their main focus is whatever the investment that they have in that business, they want that investment to grow and or provide income. They are usually not actually running the business, but they're taking profits off it, maybe because they inherited part of it, and that could lead to tensions with those that actually run the business. Because the attitude can be like, well, why are you benefiting from all of my hard work when you're not doing anything? This can really escalate tensions. And sometimes their degree of involvement in the business can be problematic. They're not actually running the business, but from the outside they kind of, armchair commanders, they're kind of chiming in from the sidelines, causing problems and escalating that tension further. And then you've got those employees that are outside the family but inside the business. And they're going to feel like in some ways that they are not going to be preferred for management positions, right? Why am I working so hard for somebody else's family? So do these people look for rewards, i.e. income, and that's what keeps them in the business, or do they look for loyalty, i.e. possibly being accepted as a member of this kind of pseudo-family organization? Again, they want to be treated as equals, even though they're not actually part of the family, but they may be making the same or more contributions to the business. So they want a share of the rewards, they want share in the growth, and they want to be sharing in the successes. These are people that, in theory, bring professionalism, right? Because when the day is done, they go home to their own families and they can just shut it off. So when they're in the workplace, their home life ideally does not interfere with what's going on in the business, so hence this professionalism. Now, these outside managers can also help bridge family traditions. So like let's say you've got a father or a mother running a family firm and that person passes away suddenly, because that's usually what causes a transition, and you've got the younger generation that is in a process of stepping up. Well, that senior family member, that first generation, probably had a team of experienced managers around them, and these experienced managers can be a mentor for the next generation coming up. So they can help bridge those family transitions. And they may at some point get a stake or partial ownership in the company. Again, they may buy part of the company, and therefore they can become kind of inside the family as well, part owners at least. And then there's the outsiders. They're outside the company and they're outside the family. This is your competition. They're going to, of course, want to do the best they can for themselves and maybe crush the competition. These are all of the other stakeholders, again, usually the secondary stakeholders. These are regulatory and governmental agencies, because they're going to be, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on in family businesses, especially with taxes. And of course there's going to be management consultants as well. And each of these groups has a different sort of perspective. And again, I would not discard the power of those within the family. Yes, objectivity is going to be greater for those outside the family, but objectivity in business, especially in entrepreneurship, is not always what you need, right? Especially if you look at it from an effectuation perspective. It's hard to be objective when you have a subjectivist view of the world. So in our last video, we're going to talk about kind of the stages of company transition. As always, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, that's a like, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.